What's up? I'm back. This segment I'm going to talk about Ebola. It's not going to be the fear mongering I see going on right now. It's going to be more from a more common sense approach. You know, many people have spoken about what Ebola is. I don't need to speak about that as much. But people are scared. Well, some people are. I've noticed the conspiracy people are scared. The average person starting to get a little scared. They weren't before. Some people still don't really know what it is, right? But they're starting to get like it. A little scared now. Like the fear factor is building. But I think some of it's unnecessary for now. And I think you should be scared, but not for the reason why you would think. When I say you should be scared, it's not of Ebola itself. The fear should really come from the government's inability to handle crises like that. Many people are scared of a lot of things in these days and time. World War III, the Bible or Book of Revelation is being corrected to end the world, whatever, etc., etc. It could be many different things. But the biggest thing for me, in my opinion, is the world of bacteria and viruses. I think because we don't really understand it the way we should, it's a big problem. Many healers, which I'm going to discuss in another video, have told people, and I'm not attacking them because I never said it. Even as a healer, I've said it in my early videos. If you're alkaline, 100%, no disease can touch you. That's not necessarily true, but that's going to be something I cover in another segment. I think the U.S. government, like if Ebola was such a threat as they say, this is common sense. Just common sense. If Ebola were just as threat as what they say, they would naturally cut off all flights from those countries that's affected. I'm not talking about countries that's one or two countries. I'm not even making this because it seems to be more West Africa. So if it's coming from East, you have flights come from East Africa, Central Africa, South Africa. That's fine. It seems to be more West Africa. That's the problem currently. And I won't even say ban flights from all West Africa. If this was really serious, I would say, well, it seems to be in 3 countries for the most part, Liberia being number 1. Ban flights from there. Then send doctors to go help them. Simple. But they haven't done that. And for me, unless there's more to Ebola than they're telling us, right? They tell us you could get it really from contact of bodily fluids. So they say. So if you just go by what they say, it's still not as contagious as the flu, or the colds. Technically, right? You can get the cold without even touching someone. So it's not that contagious, supposedly. So for me, then I would say then all the Ebola hype that you see in the mainstream news, probably is unnecessary, if that's what you believe. So when you look at it from this perspective, though, it's really more about the fact that they seem to be incompetent about when it comes to situations like this. And it's very important because there's probably going to be others as well, viruses that's going to come up. And you can tell they have no clue of how to contain them. And to be honest, you could be a prepper, a survivalist. Shoot, you could be an occultist. You could be anything. And I've been saying in this channel for a while now, the bacteria are the gods of this kingdom. Gotta respect them. You have to understand them. You have to know them. And we don't. Even as healers, we don't really know them. If most healers knew bacteria, they would not tell people you have to be a vegetarian or vegan. Now, I'm going to get people who disagree, right? But if you really understood bacteria, you wouldn't say that. If you do say you should be vegetarian or vegan, you would say it for the real 2 reasons. If you're doing spiritual work, it's easier to do serious spiritual work when you're vegetarian, to be honest. Just makes you more sensitive to energy. Meat grounds you more into the physical. So that's the number 1 for the occultists out there. Number 2, meat is not treated correctly. The cattle and stuff are shot up with antibiotics, bad food. So in those cases, if you are part of those 2 cases, which most people should probably be at least in the second case, they're not treated well, they're shot up with with antibiotics and live in a terrible environment, then you shouldn't eat meat. That's completely different than saying, oh, you shouldn't eat it because God didn't want us to eat meat. That's not correct. If you understand the gut flora in your stomach. If you don't understand it, which most healers don't, that's why they come to those conclusions, because they don't understand the gut flora in their stomachs. So I think realistically, when you deal with shamanism, when you deal with occultism, when you see external events, it's just really more symbolic of internal principles in your own inner environment that you have to address. So is Ebola an overrated threat? At least if it's based on what they have told us, yes, I think it's a very overrated threat. Should you be scared? Yes. Not because of Ebola. You should be scared because they have shown the institution, the structural institutional power of this country has shown they don't have the ability to deal with viral outbreaks in that capacity. Imagine this is in a place that's far. You have to go by plane. Imagine if it was an outbreak in Central America or Mexico or even Canada. I mean, you'd be in serious trouble. So I think this is a time that when you're seeing these external events, it's a time for everyone to readjust or reassess what they consider healthy, what they consider important in these days and times. Connecting to nature, understanding nature from a true naturalist standpoint, not just where I just study herbs and I look at it in a book and I say I take echinacea for this, I take golden seal for this, I take chamomile tea for this. That's not understanding nature. At the end of the day, that may not be popular, but you have to begin to understand nature the way the shamans did it, the way the witch doctors did it, the way the medicine men did it. If you don't, or the way the Sangomas did it. If you don't, well, dark times are ahead. But is it dark times because of Ebola specifically? No, I think it's an overrated threat. Based on what they've told us. Now, obviously, dealing with the institutional structures we're dealing with, have they told us everything about it? It's possible they haven't. But based on what is available, being transmitted through bodily fluids, if you see someone vomiting, don't go near their vomit. Ebola really is more a serious threat for health workers. And in industrialized nations, not as much so. When you're a doctor in a village with 200 people, you don't have that much equipment. Yeah, you're gonna probably be in trouble. Like it's probably blood could spray in your face and stuff like that. No question. But in the resources that we have now, it's very hard for it to manifest the way it's manifesting in some countries in West Africa, based on what we know. Now, if you could get it from like the flu or the cold, where you could just cough and the particles go in the air and it's airborne, well, obviously that's a lot different. But based on what we have, my opinion, people asked, overrated threat. Till next time, peace.